Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.
It's Tuesday, October 17th. This is The Gateway. I'm Wayne Pratt. St. Louis is home to animation studios making big waves in the industry, creating Oscar-winning projects while delivering authentic stories.
In a world, like I said, where every story's been told, you've seen everything, what's another ninja story, right? You have to tell it from a different perspective.
In just a few minutes, St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis reports on how Black St. Louis animators are taking projects to streaming services and the big screen. Republican members of Missouri's U.S. House delegation are getting behind Jim Jordan to be the next speaker. As St. Louis Public Radio's Jason Rosenbaum reports, that includes a representative who had been a holdout.
Congresswoman Ann Wagner says she will vote for Jordan when his speakership nomination comes to the floor. The Baldwin Republican was initially resistant to backing Jordan, but said in a statement, quote, "She's always been a team player and supported our Republican nominees out of conference." Congressman Eric Burleson of Battlefield says Wagner's decision shows significant momentum toward Jordan. Burleson says he's excited about Jordan becoming speaker.
He's the kind of person who's there to save America, not have a title. That's been evident from everything he's been doing since he was first elected.
The House has been without a speaker since Kevin McCarthy was ousted earlier this month. I'm Jason Rosenbaum, St. Louis Public Radio.
Bond is set at $500,000 for a St. Louis County police officer charged after firing a gun at a Halloween event at North Kirkwood Middle School. Matthew McCullough is the son of former county prosecutor Bob McCullough. Prosecutors say the officer faces charges of endangering the welfare of children, unlawful use of a weapon, armed criminal action, and making a terrorist threat. He's accused of telling people in the school's parking lot that they were going to die. Shots were fired into the air. Several people tackled the shooter. Authorities say there were no injuries. A Washington University professor remains at his job after attracting criticism for comments about casualties in the Israel-Hamas war. St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fenton reports genetics professor Seth Crosby has apologized for his posts on X, formerly known as Twitter.
In response to a post alleging Israel is engaged in ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, Crosby wrote that it was a, quote, much-needed cleansing, and that, quote, Israel is not targeting humans. Crosby directs research collaborations at WashU's medical school. He said in a follow-up post he was referring to the militant Islamic group Hamas, which earlier this month killed 1,300 people in an attack on Israel. Crosby's comments drew widespread criticism, particularly from those who denounce Israel's bombing of Gaza, which has reportedly killed more than 2,500 people. Council on American Islamic Relations, Missouri Board Chair Yasser Ali called the posts unconscionable and dehumanizing. A spokeswoman on Monday confirmed Crosby is still employed at the university. I'm Sarah Fenton, St. Louis Public Radio.
Illinois is investing an additional $10 million in Israeli government bonds. State Treasurer Michael Frerichs says it's in direct response to the Hamas attack on Israel.
Israel is now at war, and this is our way to show, with action and deeds as well as words, that we want to do what we can in this time of need.
The state has been investing funds in Israeli bonds for more than 7 decades. Frerichs says it's a sign of the strong relationship between the state and Israel. Frerichs says the bonds have proven to be a safe investment with good returns. Black bear hunting season is underway in Missouri. The animals were decimated by overhunting in the early 20th century and brought back in the 50s and 60s through relocation and conservation campaigns. Missouri Department of Conservation biologist Nate Bowersock says the annual hunt, which began in 2021, is designed not to affect the growth of the species.
We established our bear hunting season to be all about opportunity. We're not using it as a management tool to control the population.
Bear season runs through October 25th. Undergraduate enrollment at the University of Missouri is trailing some schools in neighboring states. The Midwest Newsroom's Holly Edgell has more.
There are over 28,000 undergrads enrolled at the University of Missouri in Columbia, and that number has hardly budged since last fall, according to the school's data. Despite the lack of growth compared to other Midwestern colleges like the University of Kansas, Mizzou leaders seem unfazed. In the Columbia Missourian, Vice Provost Kim Humphrey says Mizzou is, quote, right where we thought we would be this fall, unquote. The undergraduate student body at KU grew about 18% compared to last fall. The University of Illinois and the University of Arkansas have also seen undergrad enrollment grow since then. Mizzou reports its new freshman class did grow about 3% over last fall. For the Midwest Newsroom, I'm Holly Edgell.
St. Louis animators have long made their mark in the entertainment business, dating back to the 1980s with World Events Productions character Voltron. But there were not many black animators in the game. That's starting to change. As St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis reports, black St. Louis animators are turning their voices into award-winning and commercially successful shows and movies.
Black Sands Entertainment CEO Manuel Godoy lights up with excitement as he talks about a character he created several years ago. Asar has dreams of becoming the next pharaoh of Egypt.
His personality is very, 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 I would say, toxic. It is. He's one of those characters that has a lot of chips on his shoulder.
I will be the greatest pharaoh that ever lived. I am Asar.
Godoy's comic book company is focused on creating stories about black people in ways many haven't seen before. And with the help of Composition Media, an Olivet animation studio that opened for business this year, those dreams may come true. The studio is part of a growing animation industry in the St. Louis area, creating content focused on diverse storytelling. Carl Reed is founder and CEO of Composition.
In a world, like I said, where every story's been told, you've seen everything, what's another ninja story, right? You have to tell it from a different perspective.
Take his upcoming show, Bad Grandmas, an animated comedy produced by Steve Harvey's production company about a group of modern grandmas who get into bizarre scenarios. It's like a black version of the Golden Girls.
How are you at a concert and you bump into your grandma? Like, never would have happened, right? So a lot of places to explore, a ton of hilarious voices that's a part of it, and comedians.
Before starting Composition, Reed co-founded St. Louis-based Lionforge Animation with David Stewart II. In 2019, Lionforge produced a short film, Hair Love, which won an Oscar for Best Animated Short in 2020. It's about a black father who learns how to do his daughter's hair after watching an instructional video filmed by his wife, played by actor and writer Issa Rae.
Are you ready to do this? All right, here we go. First, we want to moisturize these beautiful thick curls with a leave-in conditioner, which will also help detangle the kinks. Now,
Stewart, who's co-founder of Lionforge, says the short resonated with all audiences.
If you're black and you saw, hey, this looks like us, this feels like us because we're creating it, right? But also there were some universal ties and things that I think everyone either felt attached to or learned something.
The Oscar catapulted Lionforge into the mainstream, leading the studio to release a follow-up series on Max in September, with Rae reprising her role along with hip-hop artist and actor Kid Cudi.
You're in a strangely good mood this morning. Did you have to dream about Michael B. Jordan again?
It's cute you think there's just the one.
The show is one of many Lionforge has developed, but in the U.S. animation industry, only about 4% of animators are black. Chris Aaron is an animation professor at Webster University. He says while many animators in the U.S. are based out of Los Angeles, technological advancements have made it easier for local artists to showcase their voices.
A lot of people just don't want to do that, but they do want to be in the animation industry.
Back in Olivet this past September, Reed showed off a studio in progress that holds a few chairs, boxes, and some desks. Now they're adding workers and advanced technology. But when it's up and running, he says it's showtime.
Whether we're the home to, diverse content, that'd be great. But I want to be the home to a ton of content. So bring on the diverse content, bring on the new content, bring on the terrible content.
Reed says he's ready to help other long-ignored people get their start too. I'm Chad Davis, St. Louis Public Radio.
Our David Casares edited that report. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.